The chill bit at him first, not the physical cold of the sterile room, but a deeper, more pervasive coldness that settled in his bones. Eddie Brock blinked, his eyes heavy, struggling to focus on the flickering fluorescent light above. A vague hum vibrated through the metal table beneath him, a low thrum that seemed to echo the emptiness in his head. He tried to call out, but his throat was dry, his tongue thick. Who was he? Where was he? The questions clawed at the edges of his consciousness, but there were no answers. Only an immense, terrifying void where his past should have been. He wouldn't know it then, but his freedom had come at a cost. After what felt like an eternity tethered to a vast alien consciousness, the hive mind, Eddie Brock had been severed, cast adrift. A husk of a man, his physical body found by soldiers loyal to the Maker, an insidious version of Reed Richards from a desolate future. The Maker saw not a victim, but an opportunity, a biological anomaly, a bridge between worlds. For weeks, Eddie remained a captive, subjected to relentless interrogation. But it was a peculiar kind of torture, for Eddie was, by all accounts, brain dead. His conscious mind had receded, a protective measure against the overwhelming psychic bombardment he'd endured. Yet the Maker persisted. Day after day, the same questions were whispered, shouted, projected directly into his fractured psyche. Queries about the hive mind, about the symbiote, about the secrets of their cosmic existence. Eddie, a prisoner in his own inert body, felt the pressure, the probing, the constant, maddening repetition, but couldn't formulate a response. His brain was a static-filled television screen, incapable of processing the broadcast. And then there was the symbiote. His other, his dark companion, was also wounded, traumatized by the separation from its collective. But instinctively, primitively, it worked to protect Eddie. Each time the Maker's probes threatened to trigger a memory, a spark of the horrifying truth, the symbiote would react. It would suppress, distort, or outright erase the memory, replacing it with a blank space or a hazy, incoherent image. It was a desperate, if ultimately damaging, act of love, a shield forged from forgetting. This period of ceaseless, unanswered interrogation, of having his very identity eroded by both aggressor and protector, was a brutal, isolating ordeal. Then a window, an opportunity born of desperation, or perhaps a calculated gamble by his captor. Eddie, driven by a primal, animalistic need for self-preservation, escaped. He ran, stumbled, and crawled through the labyrinthine corridors of the Maker's facility, a ghost fleeing a forgotten nightmare. When he finally emerged into the cold light of day, he was free, but irrevocably broken. His body was battered, but his mind was a shattered mosaic, a collection of disconnected images and echoes. The true torment began not with the escape, but in the agonizing, often futile attempt to piece himself back together. Every fragment of memory was a puzzle piece that didn't quite fit, a whispered word without context, a face without a name. He would catch glimpses, a child's laughter, a familiar roar, the metallic tang of an alien world. They were his, yet alien to him. The unreliable nature of his own mind became his greatest enemy. He was a man at war, not with an external foe, but with the very fabric of his past. This internal battle was further complicated by a devastating revelation. As slivers of his true history bled through, as the symbiote's desperate deceptions began to falter, Eddie slowly, painfully uncovered the truth about his son, Dylan, and the truth about the symbiote's long history of manipulation, of well-meaning but ultimately selfish actions that had shaped his life without his full awareness. The creature that had saved him, protected him, had also carefully curated his reality, pruning away the uncomfortable truths. It was a betrayal, not of malice, but of a deeply misguided loyalty. What unfolds next is a testament to the profound resilience of the human spirit,
even a spirit as bruised and battered as Eddie Brock's. This journey forced him to confront the unsettling reality that his perception of self, his very identity, was built on a foundation of shifting sands. He had to learn to trust the instincts that told him a memory felt wrong, even if he couldn't recall the right one. He had to actively seek out the missing pieces, to ask the difficult questions, and to accept that the truth, when it finally emerged, might be far more painful than the void. Eddie Brock's story After the Hive Mind is a brutal, deep dive into the labyrinth of an unreliable mind. It's a poignant exploration of how trauma can fracture our sense of self, and how the deepest battles are often fought within the confines of our own memories. It teaches us that rediscovering who we truly are often means dismantling everything we thought we knew. What do you think of Eddie's profound journey through the wreckage of his own mind? Have you ever felt like you were battling your own memories? Share your thoughts in the comments below. And if you found this story compelling, please consider subscribing for more deep dives into the complex narratives that shape our favorite characters.